And we have gone through different areas of competitive exam aptitude test for the last few days. And we have done a number of questions as well. Some of the questions are really interesting. Some of the questions are a bit time consuming. Today we'll take a look at the questions from verbal ability area. Verbal ability. So verbal ability, what are the type of questions expected from verbal ability? Usually the questions, what you see in exams, aptitude tests, it's are like synonyms, antonyms type questions, reading comprehension type questions. Then you have sentence corrections. These are the major varieties of questions you may have from verbal ability. So we'll take a look at some of the questions here. First of all, it's pretty much about, it's a introduction to the reading comprehension. So what I want you to do, just read that first paragraph. It's a small paragraph. Take a look at it. Dolphins are regarded as the friendliest creatures in the sea, and anecdotes of them abating drowning sailors have been common since the Roman times. The more we learn about dolphins, the more we fathom that the school of dolphins and their society is more convoluted than the people imagined. They look after other dolphins when they are queasy, care for the pregnant, and fend the flimsiest in their community as we do. So this is the paragraph. And actually, what exactly you understand from the paragraph? If you have completed reading the paragraph, don't read it again. One time reading is good enough. So what do you understand from that? Can you frame it in a small sentence? You don't need to say that, but can you frame it in your mind in just a simple sentence? What exactly the core idea shared in that paragraph? So if anyone wants to share what you feel or what you got it from here, I appreciate it. If anybody just want to share what is the core idea of the paragraph, you can say that in just one sentence. Anybody? Well, the paragraph talks about dolphins, but what's the core idea about it? It is what about dolphins? It's about their speed, or it's their like the cuteness, or what exactly it is mentioned over there? So what do you think? Give me an answer. Anybody is okay. Anyone? Can you unmute the mic? Is that okay? Technically, is that okay? So ultimately, when you look at this paragraph, this small paragraph, what exactly been mentioned about dolphins? It is all about dolphins, but what is the core idea which is shared over here? Dolphins regarded as the friendliest creatures in the sea. Anecdotes of them abating the drowning sailors have been common since Roman times. The more we learn about dolphins, the more we fathom that the school of dolphins and their society is more convoluted. Or ultimately, they are the author starting from like the dolphin is the friendliest creature. So that's pretty much introduction. And finally, it gets to what? The more we learn. So that is what he is getting into the core of this paragraph. The more we fathom that the school of dolphins. What do you mean by the school of dolphins? School. Any idea what is the school of dolphins? I think we have discussed that last week when we had like verbal analogy. Dolphin and school, what's the connection? Yeah, I see the answers in the chat box. It's a collective noun. That's right. The group of dolphins. Group of dolphins is known as school. So here, the author talks about where the more we fathom that the school of dolphins and their society is more convoluted than the people imagined. They look after the other dolphins when they are queasy, care for pregnant, etc. So ultimately, this paragraph talks about the society of dolphins, how they are connected to each other. So that is what exactly the core idea of the paragraph. And what is the biggest challenge you have here? Just think about it. What is the biggest challenge you have here? Well, when I read this paragraph, personally, what I see here, what some of these words, for example, like the friendliest creatures in the sea, then anecdotes. What do you mean by anecdote? Abetting drowning sailors. Abetting. What is abetting? The more we learn about dolphins, the more we fathom. What do you mean by fathom? Then the society, it's more convoluted. What do you mean by convoluted? They look after the other dolphins when they are queasy. What do you mean by queasy? And pregnant and fend the flimsiest. Flimsiest. What is flimsiest? And it says fend. What is the meaning of fend? So we have many words over here. These are not really in the common usage. These are English words, but we don't use them everyday life. But some of you must have heard of this many times. Anyhow, so we'll take a look at what exactly the meaning of this words one by one. Anecdote. What do you mean by anecdote? Yeah, it's a real life stories, or it's a collection of stories. That's what anecdote. It may not be real life, but it's anecdote means it's a collection, pretty much. It could be a real life, it could be like anything else. So that is what anecdote. So Renzi, thank you for that. Then abetting. Abetting means what? Helping. Yes, help. Abetting, that means helping or supporting. Supporting drowning sailors. And then the more we learn about dolphins, the more we fathom. What do you mean by fathom? What's the meaning of fathom? Understand or measure. So fathom. Then the dolphins and the society is more convoluted. What do you mean by convoluted? Convoluted. Anyone? Convoluted, the simple word, the simple meaning of convoluted is complex. If they use that word complex instead of convoluted, that must be much more easier for us, right? So, well, they use the word convoluted to make it more complex. Anyhow, convoluted than the people imagined. They look after the other dolphins, and when they are queasy, what do you mean by queasy? Sick, correct, sick. Especially, it is not that critical sickness, but it is queasiness. Especially if you have a cold, you feel like queasy. And care for pregnant and fend. What is the meaning of fend? F-E-N-D, fend. Probably heard of fenders on your vehicles. Fenders. What do you mean by fenders? Fenders, especially on Jeep and all, and even for two-wheelers, there are fenders. What is fender? Fender is something protects your vehicle. So it protects that. So fending means protecting. Fend the flimsiest. Flimsiest means flimsiest. Flimsy. Flimsiest means the weakest in the group. So instead of giving these complex words, if they had given as the simple words, this paragraph must have been easier for us. So usually this is what happens in every time when it comes to reading comprehension questions. The paragraphs would be perfectly all right if they use the simplest word, but they don't use it. And this is just an example of a paragraph. The normal case, it would be like at least 4 times larger than this paragraph. That is what we can expect in a normal competitive exam. All right, we'll just go down and what exactly they have given here. So this paragraph, this is what exactly they have asked us to. What do you understand from this news? It's a news item actually. And would there be any difference in your understanding level if you had clearly understood the meaning of the following words? The following words are anecdotes, abetting, fathom, school, convolute, fend, flimsy, and queasy. So once now you know the meaning of all these words, and if you look back to that paragraph, definitely your understanding level is increased. It could be like 2 times or 3 times rather than what you had in the beginning, right? So understanding level is totally different. So that is what. So English, when it comes to verbal ability, well, you know what? If it is logical reasoning or quantitative ability, you can improve really fast. Even though these two are bit difficult areas, but you can improve fast. English, on the other hand, most of the candidates think English would be the easiest area, but it is not the case. English, especially this verbal ability area or English area, it takes bit longer time for you to develop the language skills. So be aware of that. When you deal with English, then of course you are looking for a long term. You need, if logical reasoning and quantitative ability, for example, it requires 3 months for improve, and then verbal ability may be like, you know what, more than 1 year, over a period of 1 year. That is what it is. Now, next set of questions, choose the synonyms. Synonyms, of course, you know what is synonym, same meaning. First, I would say go for question number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Mandatory. So we'll go for question number 2. Mandatory. Which one is the synonym of mandatory? Yes. I see the answers from many of you. Renz, Donna, Sonia, Ellen, Kartika. So mandatory, that means it is obligatory. So that's a meaning. And optional, optional means it's not obligatory. You have the option. Artificial, of course, you know the meaning of artificial, which is not natural. So that's artificial. Voluntary means, of course, if you like, you can volunteer it. Again, you have a choice. So obligatory or mandatory means it is, you don't have a choice. For example, like every day you hear news about NIA and CBI, all those things. If CBI sends a summons to somebody, that is what it's mandatory. You have to be in front of them. There's no choice. It's not optional. So it is called mandatory or obligatory. And second one, third question, jeer. Jeer means what? I see the answers from Godwin, Christian, Sonia, Alan, Vineka. So the political leader was welcomed by a jeering crowd, or when the political leader came for the meeting or joined for the meeting, the jeering crowd welcomed him. Jeer means, is it praise or salute or deride or support? What do you think? So most of you say the answer is deride. So what is the meaning of deride? Is it same as praising, or is it just opposite of praising? What do you think? Anybody? It's opposite of praising. That's correct. So praise, and the opposite antonym of praise is deride. So jeering crowd welcomed a politician means it is not a positive thing. Jeering means in Malayalam, yeah, ridiculing. In Malayalam, നമുക്ക് ഏറ്റവും ആപ്റ്റായിട്ട് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന word, what is it? കൂകി വിളിക്കുന്ന ജനക്കൂട്ടം. That's what jeering crowd. So കൂകി വിളിക്കുക means it's not really in a positive sense, it's in a negative sense. So deride is the answer. Now, fourth one, vantage. I see the answers from Alan, Sonia, And if you are not sure about the answer for this kind of question, if you're not sure about the answer, then you look at the answer choices: near, bottom, low. So what we see here, bottom and low, it is the similar meaning. So that means if you take bottom as the answer, low could be the answer as well. So these two cannot be the answer then, in that case. The next possibility, either near or zenith. Near, yeah, it is something closer. And zenith. Zenith, you must have heard of Zenith computers. It's a famous brand, Zenith. So what is the meaning of Zenith? Anybody know what is the meaning of Zenith? Zenith computers. Well, that was a famous brand. I am not sure whether they are in the business still. So Zenith, what is it? Meaning. Zenith means vantage. Vantage means zenith. Okay, yeah, peak, exactly. That is what, Alan. I appreciate it. So peak or the highest point, that is what, zenith. So vantage point, that is the highest point in that area. Entice. Yes. I see the answer from Alan, Sonia, Donna. Probably you remember this word was in the exam as well. When you had the first introductory exam, you remember those? And there was one word, the synonym. It was entice. Entice means the meaning is lure. What is the meaning of lure? Lure. Can you give me an idea what is lure? And in this case, if you are not sure about the answer, if you are 100% sure, that's perfectly all right. If you are not sure, what you can do, rather than thinking about the answer, if you think in exam hall, if you think about the answer, you may not get it. If you know the answer, it's perfectly all right. If you think about the answer, you may not get it. So what do you do? Look at the answer choices. So deter and abhor. Is there any kind of like similarity in the meaning? These two, abhor and deter. Both the meaning is what? Hate. So deter, abhor. So these two, these are same meaning. So well, if one is the answer, other can be the answer as well. So these two cannot be the answer. Then prevent and lure. Entice means what? Entice, probably you heard of Bajaj Enticer. There is a bike and Bajaj Enticer. So usually if it is kind of like, you know what, if the meaning is prevent, then that cannot be for a brand. Usually the brand names are positive. So prevent cannot be the answer. Then the answer must be lure. Lure means rewarding or attracting. So that is what lure is. Lure is pretty much, you know what, attractive. Usually lure is kind of like used as a bait as well. Sometimes it is lure as lure for bait. Usually they use that term. Some people use some kind of bait to lure people to something. That means attract people towards something. They use baits as well. For example, in marketing, they may say something like freebies. We offer these kind of things. We offer that kind of things. So that is to lure people into that scheme or into that product. So lure means pretty much attract. Fishing, yeah, correct, exactly. Fishing lure, exactly. You got it. Now question number 6. Pick up the most appropriate words to fill the blanks so as to make it meaningful. I have absolutely no doubt. Dash the innocence of the accused. So what is it? About, yes. About the innocence of the accused. Again, this question, we had that in the exam. Probably you remember this. It was about. The answer is about. That is, you know what, you don't need to grammar, you don't need to learn grammar in order to make these answers correct. If you have a habit of using English, either you read or you write or you speak English, then you get it. no doubt about. So that word come to your, tip of your tongue automatically. So that's advantage of English. If you use English, you will be good in English. Number 7. Dash, you spoken to him before he called you. Yeah, I see the answers from many of you. Alan, Sonia, Tia, Donna, Christine, Benedict. So this is pretty much, if you are aware of what exactly the grammar of involved in this, that's going to be easy for you. Dash, you spoken to him. So spoken to him before he called you. So this is what? Past participle, right? Spoken. And we are talking about a situation which is before that past participle. Definitely that must be had. So usually we use this kind of had you have, had you have. These are the kinds of usages. I'm not really going into this deep grammar. That's going to be really boring. The rules of grammar is really boring. The best way to learn grammar is kind of like, look at the situations where you use this kind of sentences. So, well, if it's the best example which I learned in school days and college days, you know what? If something is happened in the past, and that is the event A or event 1. Event 1 has happened, that is in the past, and there is another event which has happened before that. We call it like event 2, E2. E2 is before that. Then how do we express these two events? The simple example, I reached the station, but that time the train was left. So if it is, which one is first happened and which one is second happened? Two things which has happened yesterday. So actually this was happened yesterday or like a week ago, whatever it is. So these two things are already in the past. So which one happened first? Did I reach the station or the train left? Which happened first? Train left, exactly. Train left, that's the first event. Then I reached the station. So how do we say that? Before I reached the station, the train had left. So the first thing which happened must be attached to had. So that is what it is. Before I reached the station, the train had left. So the first thing which happened is had. So this same situation, question number 7. Had you spoken to him before he called you? So he called you before that. So the event before that, it must be you spoken to him. So had. So had must be the first event, and the second event, he called you. Had you spoken to him before he called you? All right, let's go for next one. One word substitute. One who provokes disorder in the state. This is one of the question many of you got the wrong answer in the test. So which one is the answer? Atheist, arbitrator, anarchist, aborigine. Aborigine means, well, the person who is lives in that particular area. Aborigine, what is the Malayalam meaning of aborigine? The person who is aborigine, the origin of that area. He is not came for, or she is not from any other area. He is from that specific area. So aborigines are, in Malayalam we say Adivasi. So aborigines, native, exactly, native. Then anarchist, arbitrator. Arbitrator, we know that the person who arbitrates, the person who is between like the deals. So arbitrator cannot be the answer. Aborigine cannot be the answer. Atheist, that's different, meaning is different. Atheist means what? The person who doesn't believe in? Any idea? Yes, the person who doesn't believe in God, that atheist. So the answer is anarchist. Anarchist is a person who provokes disorder in a state. So this is what. Now something which cannot be corrected. Question number 9. Something which cannot be corrected is what? I see the answer, yes. Incorrigible. That's correct. Incorrigible is the answer. Something cannot be corrected is incorrigible. Then what is illegible? First one. Something which is not legible. That means you cannot read it. If somebody writes on a board, well, the board is not really clear, or the board has lost its paint clarity. So if something is written on that board, it may be illegible. Extreme, everybody know the meaning of extreme. Irrefutable means something which cannot be refused. So even though, let's say someone has, let's say one of you has toothache. So you or someone, one of your friend has a toothache, but on that particular day, where even though you have a toothache, somebody kind of like offered you a dairy milk. You know that you have a toothache, but when you see the dairy milk in front of you, you cannot really refuse it. So it's called irrefutable offer. Irrefutable offer. For example, that's the gold smuggling case. Swapna has given many kind of deals to many people, and this kind of like what, these offers were irrefutable, cannot be refused. Now look at the answer is incorrigible. Next one, it's a small paragraph and you have a number of kind of blanks in between. Take a look at how do you fill that blanks. And by the way, before I forget that, let me share this with you. And tomorrow, that's Saturday and Sunday, we have the programs 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So both days, Saturday and Sunday. So share it with your friends as well. So 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's a timing. Once you're ready, we'll go through the answers. I'll give you like a few seconds to go through that paragraph. The principal advantage in having a clear-cut objective of business is that it does not derail. The enterprise does not stray away dash the direct route that it has set for dash. Enterprises with well-defined objectives can conveniently undertake dash and follow long-range development policies. Recognition of objectives dash the temptation to compromise long-range dash for short-term gains. And for each space, so for example, the first one is marked as 10. For that 10, you have 4 answer choices. So among that 4 answer choices, pick up the one is best suitable for the 10th one. Okay, I see the answers from many of you. I appreciate it. Good. Look at all these questions and we'll answer one by one. Okay, guys, SP sir has joined us, the quantitative ability aptitude trainer, and sir will start the session in 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, once we finish this paragraph. So let's finish this paragraph, then I'll say goodbye, and the SP sir will continue. And tomorrow you'll have a session at 11 o'clock. You'll have SP sir and Shilpa miss for you tomorrow, and Sunday will update you what is the plan. Anyway, timing is exactly same, Saturday and Sunday 11 to 1. Now look at these questions. The principal advantage in having a clear-cut objective of business is that it does not derail. The enterprise does not stray away, and many of you have given the answer choice from. Yes, exactly, that's the answer choice, derail from. So always remember, if it is a derail means it's already on the rail, something is on the rail, and derails from. So from would be the best option in that case. So the answer is from, question number 10. Question number 11. Question number 11. So what is here in the paragraph? The direct route that it has set for 11. So that's a blank 11. Set for what? Others, industry, itself, government. What is the answer? The enterprise does not stray away from the direct route that it has set for itself. Yes, you are right. So that's the answer, itself. Good. Now question number 12. Now look at the paragraph. The enterprise with well-defined objectives can conveniently undertake dash. What is it? Projects, research, audit, appraisal. The project is the best suitable word over there. And follow long-term development policies. Recognition of objectives, 13. Recognition of objectives, the answer choices are initiatives, annoys, shifts, curtails. Recognition of objectives, dash, the temptation to compromise, long range, something. So recognition of objectives. Answer is question number 13. Answer is curtails. Curtails means prevents. So recognition of objectives prevents the temptation to compromise long range, something for short-term gains. Long range, what? Losses, objectives, interest, leaders. So leaders cannot be the answer, losses cannot be the answer. So objectives or interest would be the best answer. So which one? Long term, long range, rather than objectives. Well, I would say interest would be the best answer here. Objective is not a wrong answer here, both are good. So this case, temptation to compromise long range objectives or interest. So I think both are correct. Which one is most appropriate? You have to think about it. Look at the first part of this paragraph, the principal advantage of having clear-cut objective. So this paragraph talks with what? Objectives. It begins with the objectives. So which is going to be the best suitable answer here for question number 14? Is it objective or interest? Objective. Yes, that's the best answer. Interest is not a wrong answer, but objective. Question number 13, Christine has a question. Christine, question number 13, recognition of objectives. If you say invites the temptation to compromise. So recognition of objectives, it doesn't invite the temptation to compromise. Rather than it prevents the temptation. Actually, the temptation means something. We have a temptation to do something. Temptation for doing something, it is usually, if it is something which is useful, we may not have the temptation to do it. If we use the word temptation to do something, means it is temptation to do something which is not really right. That is what exactly we use the word temptation. For example, in the the story of Adam and Eve, they had the temptation to eat that fruit. Probably you heard the story many times in many places, right? It is not really related with any kind of religion, rather than it is like common story nowadays. So, well, Adam and Eve we use one to indicate the word temptation. So temptation, they had the temptation. Temptation is something which is not really something positive. If we are supposed to do something positive, we never call it temptation. Okay, I think you got it. Is it? Okay, good. So this is what exactly it is. Now, well, for the time being, I would say goodbye. And SP sir is already with us. He will walk you through the other areas of quantitative ability, and enjoy the session and see you next time. Bye-bye. SP sir, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, all. So let us continue the session. So in our last session, we discussed up to some basic initial set of questions from ratio, proportion, and variation. Now we have to continue that, and we have to finish the rest set of questions from ratio, proportion, and variation. And we will move to a very important topic, that is numbers, because you can expect lots of questions from numbers. I have a good collection of numbers questions asked from various companies for the placement drives. So those set of questions will definitely help you. Suppose if you are planning to study numbers in a theoretical manner, it will take too much time because it's such a vast topic. But here we are considering only the main objectives from that particular topic. It's based on the previously asked questions. So it will reduce our effort. Then you will get a clear idea on which concepts we have to focus more from this topic. Yeah, we can move to the questions from ratio, proportion, and variation. So only two questions we finished from ratio, proportion, and variation. First of all, the questions from ratio, proportion, and variation are very important. So I can share some of the very interesting trick to you. Okay, yeah. So we can start. This is your first challenge. You just try to find the answer. It's a question asked by Infosys for non-technical students. Let us see who will answer first. Yeah, students, you just try to send me the message in private mode. That's better. So before you sending the message, you just make the suitable settings and arrangements there. Okay, Benny, you have to try again. Okay, a slight mistake there. Yeah, very good. Elizabeth, Saumya, correct, very good. Rans, you can make it correct. So just understand the question clearly. Angel, that's not the right answer. So try again. Donna, right, very good. Sachin, correct. Sonia, try again.
27, 37, 57.
Tripta, very good, correct.
16 70.
Maybe you can try again. You almost reached. A slight understanding mistake only there. Okay, Giver is shared one link, one YouTube video from Walnut Training. So you will get the basics of time and work from that video. So after the session, you can use it. There are lots of other useful videos also available. Okay, then we can look at the method. It's an interesting set of questions. Yeah, Jill's very good, correct. There is an interesting method for finding the answer for this question. Instead of giving the entire exact concept, detailed concepts, I will give you a very simple trick for finding the answer for such a kind of question. So it's a frequently tested type question. So this trick will help you a lot. And Sujitra, very good, correct. So what do you want to consider in such kind of age-related problems connected with the ratio in this one, 2 different periods? So as we know, there is a separate area, age problems, especially we are considering the syllabus of campus placement drives. That's one of their favorite area. You can expect lots of questions from age problems. And main fundamental pillar of this age problem is also ratio. So in all the other competitive exams, if you are considering, this age problem is not a separate section. It's a part of a ratio and it's part of simple equations. So these all the areas will contain different types of age problems. But in campus placement drives, age problem is a separate session. But we are not going to discuss it as a separate session. We will discuss some age problems connected with some other topics. That's enough. Here, this is such a kind of level 2 or level 3 age problem. That's the very basic type of age problems. So here, Kareena and Kajol, 2 persons. Runs, now you are correct, very good. So there is an easy, a super trick for finding the answer for this question. So understand it clearly. So we just consider Kareena and Kajol. So first we have to write the ratio of their ages, Kareena and Kajol. So this is the ratio of their present ages. Present ages. Before considering the further details, so from most probably in most of the cases, from this first arrangement itself, you will get the answer if you're lucky. Here, we know that anyway, this question's answer is cannot be determined because it's possible to find a value. So therefore, that's not the answer. Out of the rest 3 options, which will be the answer. Here, first, what do you want to do? I just give you a common suggestion or advice for approaching this kind of word problems. Usually, what I am doing, whenever I am trying to solve such a word problem, I will start from the last sentence of the question instead of the first sentence. So last sentence in the sense, only the last sentence, then you have to start from the first data onwards. So while we are starting with the going to find out, correct? So you can avoid such type of traps while doing such a kind of word problem if you are clearly understand the actual objective of such a question. Here we have to find out the present age of Kajol. So look at the ratio. The ratio value, which is representing the present age of Kajol, is 4. Correct? It's 4. A simple inference there. The present age of Kajol is a multiple of 4. Have you got the logic? The present age of Kajol is a multiple of 4. If you're lucky, there is only one value that has a multiple of 4. But unfortunately, Here we have two options. So the first one is a multiple of 4. Second one is, third one is also a multiple of 4. Understand this trick carefully. So we can easily eliminate the second option. But no problem, there are two such options. So what do you want to do? Next point we have to consider. After 3 years, the Kajol's age will be represented by 9. What's the other inference there, additional inference there? So whenever we are adding 3 to the present age, the resultant should be a multiple of 9. That's the second point. Clear? Here 40 plus 3. So this is 43. It's not a multiple of 9. Then we are sure our answer is option A. Clear? So this is a very simple trick for finding the answer for such a type of question. There are loads of other tricks, but this is the most effective way to find the answer for such a question in campus placement trials. Got it clearly? Do I need to repeat it? Yeah. Here we have to consider like this. I'll just erase all the points from here. In such an age problem, almost 90% of the age problems you can catch with the help of this divisibility rules. So here the first one. First, you have to start from the last question's term. What we are going to find out. We have to find the present age of Kajol. And the next point, in such a question, it's possible to find a value or age in most of the cases. So from the data, we are getting that idea. Therefore, answer cannot be determined. Answer would not be, cannot be determined. Clear? So then next point, if the fourth option is none of these, then you have to be carefully approach towards this question. Otherwise, there is a chance. So here we are considering the first ratio form. Always we have to focus the age value of present age of Kajol is represented by 4. The inference is the present age of Kajol is always a multiple of 4. So out of the given remaining 3 options, only 2 options are multiples of 4. So therefore the next one we can cancel. So these selected 2 options, which will be the right one. For that thing, you have to consider the next concept. 3 years, after 3 years, Kajol's age will be a multiple of 9. So that's a simple trick. So you just simply add 3 to both the pending or the confusing options. Here 24 plus 3, that is 27. Yeah, it's satisfying. It's a multiple of 9. And this one, 40 plus 3, this is 43. It's not a multiple of 9. So we can conclude our answer is option A. Correct. Okay. So what you want to do, you just go through some of the additional questions. It's available from website. Different companies' questions also available. What you want to do, you just try to check whether these tricks will applicable over there or not. Like that, you have to create your confidence. Okay. So now we can move to the next question. Try to find the answer here. It's a question asked by Tech Mahindra. So most probably that's for the technical cadre. Alex, just try once again. Sonia, try again. Tripta, very good, correct. Ritu, very good. Correct. Vinekha, try again. Ashish, very good. Correct. Sujitra, try again. Donna, correct. Good. Rans, correct. Good. Naimi, try again. Alan, very good. Correct. Okay, now we can check. So there is another ratio trick. A mixture of alcohol and water in the ratio. So here, find the quantity of alcohol in the given mixture. It's quantity of alcohol in the given mixture. Again, we are following the same trick which we applied earlier. So alcohol, it's denoted by 4. Clear. So what's the inference there? Answer is a multiple of 4. Actually, there is a most probably condition. Clear. In some of the other tricky type of questions, so multiple of 4, that's true, but we are not sure whether that's the integer multiple of 4. Correct. But in campus placement drives, you don't want to bother about that. They are not giving you much complex level questions. So within the first this understanding itself, you can find the answer. So out of the given set of options, what we want to find out, so here, finally, we have to find out the quantity of alcohol in the mixture. There is not any variation occurred on the quantity of alcohol. We are adding only water. Therefore, the quantity of alcohol is represented by 4. What's in inference? The quantity of alcohol is a multiple of 4 out of the given set of options, which is the right value there. So here, if you are constrained, that's equal to 8. But that's why I told you, in some cases, there are some traps. That's why most of the students gave the answer as option A, because it's a multiple of 4 there. But what's the trick there? Here, this is the trick. Very rarely only they are applying this trick in such a type of question. But in the case of age problems or the number of persons related ratio problems, there you don't want to be confused about this particular point. That's why I told you here 4, multiple of 4, and the sense 2 different ways you can consider. The first thing, integer multiple of 4. That means 4, 8, 12, 16, etc. Those are integer multiple of 4. But it's the case of quantity of solutions. It can be expressed in the form of fractional form also. So that means 1.5 liter, 2.5 liter, 3.25 liters, something like that. But in the case of persons, we cannot express it in the form of fractions. And age also, normally they are not expressing in the form of fractions. Therefore, there the trick is applicable. But in this case, it's a trap. So how we can consider, or the right way for finding the answer here? We just consider alcohol and water. Initially, alcohol and water are in the ratio 4:3. Here you have to understand which is the non-varying component. In such a question, you have to catch the point non-varying component. So this is the mantra for this type of question always. You have to understand which is the non-varying component. So we are adding additional quantity of water here. So therefore, the non-varying component in this case, that is alcohol. So as per the new ratio, alcohol ratio is alcohol to water, and the ratio 4:5. So here in this ratio expression, the quantities represented by alcohol in both the situations are same. Otherwise, we have to make them are equal. Clear? We have to make them are equal. How it will be? I will give another example here. Suppose we just consider alcohol and water initially 4:3. So after 5 liters of additional water pouring to the mixture, it's become 3:5 in such a situation. So this is the ratio value represented by alcohol. And we know that alcohol is the non-varying component. But we want to equate these two quantities are same. What do you want to do? You just multiply the first ratio by this 3. Then the ratio becomes 12:9. And multiply the second ratio by 4. Then the ratio becomes 12:20. It's a different example. So more often we'll get such a kind of set of values. At that you have to do this operation. What is our objective here? We have to equate this non-varying components quantities are same. Fortunately, our present question or the current question, these values are same in both the ratios. That means no alteration required here. So next point, you just simply observe what is the variation occurred here. 3:5. So a 2 units increment here. These all happened in the ratio platform, not in the exact platform. We are going to connect it with the exact value. So in our question, it is given that this additionally pouring water is 5 liters, which means this 2 is representing 5 liters. 2 is representing 5 liters. What do we want to find out? The quantity of alcohol in the mixture. So in both the cases, alcohol is represented by 4. So then what this 4 represents, that we have to find out what this 4 represents. So here it will come like this 3 and initially, here, this 3 initially, quantity of water in the initial solution, it's expressed as 3. And quantity of water in the final solution is expressed as 5. So what is the increase here? 3 to 5. So 2 more there. So that's the 2. Got it clearly? Yes. So in this arrangement, 2 is representing an actual 5 liters of water. So that means 4 is representing how much? So these are all same kind of components in the sense both are liquids. So therefore 2 is representing 5 liters, then 4 is representing how much? A simple logic. 2 things, its price is 5 rupees. Such 4 things, its price is equal to 10 rupees. So we can conclude the answer as 10 liters. The method which we applied here is unitary, once we already explained that point. Got it clearly? So this type of question, so this is our mantra, focus on non-varying component, or equate the quantities of non-varying component in both the ratios. You have to understand which is the non-varying component here. Why we made a mistake if you are following the divisibility of 4, or out of the given set of options, so which is a multiple of 4, that will be the answer. Most probably we may think like that, like our previous set of example. But here the problem, this 2 is representing 5 liters. Therefore, 1 is representing 5/8. Clear? 1 is representing 5/8. It's not an integer. That's why we are not getting an integer multiple of 4 as the answer. Yeah, maybe I will explain here. So hope you all got this first step of arrangement. Clear? And from there, 2 increased here. In our question, it is given that we are adding 5 liters of water. Clear? So therefore, this 2 is representing 5 liters. Whether it's water or alcohol, that's not a matter. Only you have to focus on the quantity. In this arrangement, each 2 is representing 5 liters. If each 2 is representing 5 liters, each 4 is representing, that's exactly twice of 2. Clear? So that means, suppose if 2 is representing 5 liters, then 4 is representing how much? That's a simple logic unitary connection. 2 is 2 here, 2 its twice is 4. Its twice is 4. Therefore, its twice will be the answer. That's equal to 10 liters. Or simply understand the price and quantity wise relationship. 2 toffees, its cost is rupees 5. Then what is the price for 4 turkeys? Is equal to 10. Clear? So in this kind of unitary method, we already discussed to that point. The cross products are equal. Product of these two values will be equal to product of these two values. Like that also we can catch. Now last session I'll explain that unitary method application. Put it clear? Okay. Yes. So now we can consider the next question. It's again from Infosys. Yeah, definitely. Ritu, yeah, I am handling the sessions, but I think in your institution, some other agencies are handling the session. I'm not sure. It's a challenging question. It's a question asked by Infosys for technical students. So, Ritu, you asked my contact. Yeah, Ren's amazing. Yeah, you answered it quickly. Karthika, okay, you also got the answer quickly. Very good. Samya, try again. Actually, it's a time-consuming question, but Rens and Karthika answered it very quickly. Godwin, very good. Godwin also answered. Yeah, Tripta, try again. Whether the answer is correct or not, first you have to attempt it. Then you can correct it. Never shy to post your answer which you got. Maybe that's wrong, that's not the problem. You can correct it. Yeah, Naomi, you can try again. Jill's very good. You all are performing well, very good. So what do you want to do? You have to prepare something more. Okay. Never limited with this set of classes. You have to prepare some additional set of questions also. You can perform well. Donna, very good. Correct. So I already told you, you can access lots of questions from our website, Walnut Training website, and simply directly Google it. Some of the previous year campus placement questions also available there. Sujitra, very good. Correct. Elizabeth, try again. You almost raised the answer. A slight understanding mistake, that's only. Megha, try again. Then I try again. And Babita, try again. Alan, very good. Sonia, try again. Maria, very good. Ashish, try again. Ritu, try again. Okay, I will explain here. Sachin, very good. Correct. Naimi, once again. Priya, correct. Very good. Sonia, try again. Yeah, anyway, I'll explain here. You can keep on posting your answers there, no problem. Alex, very good. Angel, very good, correct. So here 3 persons, Simon, Steve, and Stuart. Simon, Steve, and Stuart. 3 persons we just consider. Are all apple farmers who pour their crop each year. For this year's harvest, Steve supplied 3 times as many apples as Stuart, and Simon supplies twice as many apples as Steve. So here the comparisons start from Stuart, because it is given that the number or the supply quantity of Steve, it's based on that by Stuart. So what do you want to do? You just simply assume Stuart, the supply quantity as 1. Instead of X, this is the right way. Okay, if you are substituting X, then also it's also not a problem. You will get the answer. But more professional way, we are trying to avoid the presence of X from our rough work. So we are using the unitary method for most of the problems. So Stuart, we are starting from 1. Clear? Steve supplied 3 times. Therefore, we can easily write this as 3. This as 3. Got it clearly? Yes. Simon supplied twice as many as Steve. So Simon supplies twice as many as Steve. As we know, Steve supplies 3. Therefore, Simon supplies 6. So we got the ratio here. Got it clearly? Then instead of reading first all the things, you just simply read the last sentence. What we are going to find out, what is the contribution from Simon. So Simon, it's denoted by 6. Clear? So our answer is a multiple of 6. That trick, always keep it in your mind, because in most of the cases you can easily find the answer without doing too much set of operations. And you should be numerically sound, then only you can easily conclude it. Except 350, rest all values are multiples of 6. That's an unfortunate situation. We cannot easily identify the answer from the given set of options. Clear? Yes. So here the next point. Twice as many apples as Steve. If the total number of apples supplied is 900 tons, how many did Simon's contribution? So next step is very easily we can do. So after this step is very easy. So the total is 6 plus 3 plus 1. So that's equal to 10 out of 10. The contribution from Simon is 6. Clear? 6 by 10 of total. So this is a very simple step. This is equal to 540. If you have any doubt, just ask it. I will clear it right now. Got the operation clearly. Whenever you will get such a question, this much rough work only required. Instead of doing any kind of large quantity of rough work in the form of algebra, we can avoid those all steps. It's a very simple application style rough work. Okay, yeah, good. So you almost all the students answered correctly. Very good. Yeah, it's another very easy question. It's from Bajaj, but in southern region, very rarely only. Yeah, Ashish, you can ask your doubt. Either you can post it or you can unmute your mic and ask me. No problem. Yeah, definitely. That's the right way, Ashish. The same method we applied here. 6 by 10 into 900. Yeah, that's the same method. Correct. Alan, very good. Correct. Rens, very good. Donna, very good. Correct. Jills, very good. Soumya, correct. Richu, correct. Paulvin, very good, correct. Yes, we can directly consider. Alex, correct. It's a direct application type question. Again, we are considering that unitary method. So quarter kilogram, a quarter kilogram in the sense 250 grams. Its cost 60 paise. 200 grams cost how much? This much. So our step of operation is simply like the 60 divided by 250 into 200. Simply you will get the answer. This is 5 times of 50. This is 4 times of 50. Then 12 times here. 12 into 4, which is equal to 48. Elizabeth, correct. Naomi, correct. Godwin, correct. Yes. So the answer is 48. It's a direct. So here we have to understand in southern region, I already mentioned that point. Bajaj, very rarely only they are coming to our campuses. Mainly they have the operations in northern region. And slightly Chennai also, they are doing some of the recruitment process there. Bajaj has two different types of exams. This is their mild version. They have the entire set of reasoning kind of questions, reasoning blended quantitative questions. It's most challenging. So they are conducting the test mainly for MBA aspirants. The students who are doing their MBA programs in business schools, they are conducting such a type of test there. These questions also available from websites. So whenever you are considering your higher studies from there, you are trying to attend these kinds of exams, you have to prepare those set of questions too. Okay. Yeah. So there's a second last question from this topic. Another tricky question. Nobody answered yet. Very good, Gels. Very good. Correct. Richu, correct. Naimi, correct. Sibin, Rosmi, Ritu, all are correct. Godwin, Vaishak, Ashish, all are correct. Very good. Vaishak, it's better to send me a private message. Otherwise, other students will see your answer. Okay. And Sachin, correct. Yes. So here a slight twist in this question. Here we cannot directly apply the unitary method because it's an inverse variation question. 400 children for 12 days. 400 children. The food is, or the provision is sufficient for 12 days. 80 more children, that means 480 children. How many days? Here you have to understand this case. Suppose we just consider another one example. 400 toffees, its cost is 12 rupee. Then 480 toffees, what is its cost? Directly. In our current situation, it's inverse variation. Understand that difference. Here, whenever the product is increased, at that time price also will increase. So there we already discussed that point. Here, if it is a direct variation, and we are applying the unitary method mainly for direct variation questions. The product of these two values will be equal to product of these two values. If it is a case of inverse variation, so where we are using this inverse variation mainly in the time and work part also, we are applying this inverse variation. Time, speed, time and distance. So those two quantities or the components are in inverse variation. In such a situation, what do you want to consider? Product of these two values equal to the product of these two values. Clear? That's a simple difference here. If it is direct variation, you have to consider the cross products are equal. Instead, if it will be inverse variation, you have to consider the cross horizontal products are equal or the straight products are equal. Clear? So that is what you want to do. 400 into 12 will be equal to 482 into this value, 480 into this value. Clear? So then this value is 400 into 12 divided by 480. Got it? Yes. So then we can simplify it. Here we know that these two values are multiples of 80. This is 5 times of 80. This is 6 times of 80. Then simplify it. Clear? Yes. We don't want to apply percentage there. Correct? So instead, we can directly apply. There is no role of percentages. That's fine. 400 into 12 divided by 480. That's the right way. So here, this is 2 into 5 equal to 10. Clear? So understand, keep this point in your mind. First, you have to understand whether the situation is a direct variation or inverse variation. If it is a direct variation, you have to follow the normal unitary method or this cross product condition. Instead, if it is an inverse variation, you have to follow this horizontal product condition. Got it? So the same method we are applying for the case of time and work. Time and work. So yesterday, Givargi sir already gave some of the basic ideas. M1 men can complete a work in D1 days. M2 men, D2 days. So then M1 into D1, that is the number of workers, or that's usually technically called efficiency. This is called the time. Efficiency into time will be the same. So because we are dealing with the same quantity of work, that's why this kind of a result, M1 D1 equal to M2 D2. Clear? That's a very important point you have to keep in your mind. And this is a final question from ratio. Very good, Vidhu, correct. Runs, try again. Just understand the trick behind the question. Naini, try again. Alan, try again. Sachin, very good. Benedict, very good. Soumya, correct, good. Sonia, correct. Kartika, correct. Good. Ashish, correct. Okay, here the simple trick. 108 students are participating in 3 games, football, cricket, and so on. Exactly one of the games. Which among the following cannot be the ratio of the number of the distribution? Ria, correct. Ben's, try again. Here you have to start from the options because in our question, there is only 2 data or mainly 1 data, 108 students. And rest all are general things. 3 games there. All students are participating in exactly 1 game. Suppose we just consider if the ratio is 1:2:3. What you have to consider, the number of students playing football is 1x. The number of students playing cricket is 2x. And the students playing the third game, what it is, all these values together, what we will get? This is equal to 6x. 6x. So that means 108. We are checking whether this 108 a multiple of 6. That I already mentioned that point. This is the case of number of students. Therefore, x should be an integer. Clear? X should be an integer. Yeah, Ridu, a good question Ridu asked. So, are we able to find a correct ratio? Not sure. It's a possibility question. So, can be and cannot be. So, 1:2:3 is a possible ratio because 108 is a multiple of 6. So what's the inference here? X is an integer. X is an integer. That's only the testing point here. Suppose we just consider this value 5x, 2x, 3x. So what it will become? 10x. If 10x equal to 108, what is the problem here? X is not an integer. For the simple logic, we have to consider in such a type of question, what is our testing point? Simply consider the sum of each of these ratio values and test the divisibility there. Here we can consider for a clarification, the sum of these 3 ratio values that's equal to 6. 108 is a multiple of 6. The sum of these values equal to 10. 108 is not a multiple of 10. Clear? So it's a multiple of 6, but it's not a multiple of 10. The next one also we can consider. This is 12. 12. 108 is a multiple of 12. And the last one, this is 27. 27. No doubt, 27 to 4 will make 108. Therefore, that's also a factor. That means 108 students cannot be distributed in the ratio 5:2:3. Clear? So our question, it's a possibility-based question. Which among the following cannot be the ratio or the distribution? Clear? So this is a simple testing point there. So we can start the numbers, 1 or 2 questions we can consider. Then after that, we can find the rest of the questions we'll discuss by tomorrow. Yeah, this is the first question. These all are actually guidelines, means which are the areas you have to focus in your self-study. On the basis of these objectives, you can arrange your self-study. Yeah, the first question is based on fractional operation. It's a question from Amazon. It's a simple question. The students who are facing the operations with the fractions, you have to correct it. You have to prepare well on this ground of fractional operation. Otherwise, that will badly affect at the time of exam. You may face lots of fractional operations. Nobody answered yet? We'll answer fast. Very good. Naimi, correct. Jills, very good. Godwin, correct. Good. Steffi, correct. Jyodisha, correct. Almost all the students got the correct answer. Very good, very good. So I'll explain this question quickly here. The difference between 3/5 of 2/3 of a number. So you just simply consider 3/5 and 2/3. 3/5 of 2/3. It's simply like this. That is 2/5. And the next one, 2/5 of 1/4 of a number. So this is simply 1/10. Yeah, Ashish, correct. I am keeping this denominator is also be equal to 10 for doing the operation easily. So therefore, we just multiply the numerator and denominator of this fraction by 2, and we will get this as 4/10. Our point is 4/10. Anyway, we know that 4/10 is greater than 1/10. Ritu, correct? So 4/10 minus 1/10 of a number is equal to 288. Here we can do the operation easily. That's why I told you, if anybody is facing difficulties in the fractional operations, you have to practice it from the school level onwards. Some basic addition, subtraction, multiplication. So these all the things are very important. Here we can easily subtract the numerators. This is 3/10 of x equal to 288. Therefore, x is equal to 288 into 10/3. Clear? A simple operation. We just divide this 288 by 3. 9 times of 3, 27. 18 is there. So that is 6 times. So the answer is 960. Clear? So today we can wind up the session. For tomorrow, we will continue this numbers part, plus most probably time and work or time and distance sessions. Those are very important topics. So what you want to do, if you will get sufficient time, you just make a basic preparation on these topics, then that will help you to solve the questions at the time of our session. Slightly, you have to go through the basic tutorials of these things. So almost some basic ideas available from YouTube, from our site itself, Walnut Training YouTube channel itself, it's available. So you can utilize these things properly, or other common means freely also available. There's campus placement related videos also available. So your self-preparation is very important. Okay, right now we can wind up. Thank you.